All right, we ready? All right, I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Mayor Capano.
Here.
Mrs. Passio.
Here.
Mr. Ranieri.
Under.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Here.
Mr. Farrell.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Shapiro.
Not here.
Mr. Long.
Here.
Mr. Bayshore.
Here.
And Ms. Sherley.
Here.
Okay, public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act is given by the clerk in the following manner. One, posted on the bulletin board of the Borough Clerk's office on January 5th, 2023. And two, emailed to the retrospective care post on January 5th, 2023. New business discussion, public hearings for ordinance 2308, return checks. Ordinance for the bamboo. So if you want to pull that until next month, or 1 week. So, Mr. Long.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Passio, she wasn't at the last meeting when we introduced it. She felt that there was a couple lines in there that were a little onerous on the residents. So that we should be a little more lax on the residents so they have more opportunity to fix the problem.
Understand.
So we only advertised it as a summary or?
No, the whole thing.
Here's the issue. Well, my concern, I'm okay with if we don't do it next week, we would have to re-advertise for next week.
Right.
Based on the comments that are made, especially when it deals with how onerous it is on the residents, I believe that that would constitute a fundamental alteration to said ordinance, requiring us to reintroduce it at next week's meeting.
So to give you an example, where the ordinance says you have to mitigate the problem in 45 days, Ms. Passio was saying that we should give them 90 days. Do you think that's substantial?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
It's a long process.
You're doubling the time for mitigation. When you talk about alterations, it's more, you'll see it there more in the context of you move something around or it's a formatting change or that kind of thing. When it's something to the effect of where you change the structure of something or a deadline, to me that's a fundamental part of it, especially when it deals with something with the residents. Having said all that, we did advertise for the whole thing. We can change next week to the readoption of the first reading of the ordinance, and then we're still on track to do it next month as part of the public hearing. So we'll still get there at the same time.
Do you think you can make those two changes, or was it just two changes?
Just email me and I'll
The timeline to mitigate, and then
what's the other one?
the fining. I think you should leave
Oh,
the
the fine
fine.
for sure.
Let's go to jail.
I'm not putting anybody to jail for bamboo.
Well, no one goes to jail.
Except
I mean,
for
if you talk to the police department,
minimum
nobody goes to jail.
$500 fine, or
Up to, should say up to.
Up to, yeah, you can't do a minimum fine.
Yeah, up to, it probably says up to 500.
No, minimum $500 fine.
Can't
up
do
to-
that.
Up to two. That's what it said. Minimum $500 fine, up to $2,000, or how many days in jail? So, okay, I'll see you. Adios, amigos.
Well, which
I've never
be
seen in
serious.
13 years someone put in jail for violation of a borough ordinance. No,
There is an issue where residents are, what it comes down to, John, and is that everyone's rights ends at the other person's property. And that's where the problem becomes. Bamboo is one of those products where it's great, but once it goes in the other person's property, it's not fair to the other person. And what we found is other towns in the county and the state, they're all trying to say, okay, you can have bamboo, but you gotta keep it on your property. And the only way to really do that is what? Is to dig a trench and put a piece of steel in. I know it's like putting a bulkhead. You need to put a bulkhead around it so it doesn't go in.
Read up on it.
And it's
because
been
You
tough.
can make a lot of money on this, let me tell
So you have to dig a trench and literally put it in. So
Tell me the
if that's what
bamboo
the legal
business.
advice is, it's Ms. Passio's job to make those couple changes, send it back, and we'll just have to re-advertise.
Okay.
Now, can I ask the cost of re-advertising?
To re-advertise the whole thing again, I didn't look at each cost. I can't tell you all.
Okay, I
Top
don't
of my
want you to
head.
email.
But it's a lot.
I don't use words like a lot. I use words that are definitive. So your definition of a lot and my definition of a lot is really two different things. If it's $50,
No,
it's not a lot.
it's over 100.
If it's $5,000, that's a lot.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And when we re-advertise, can we do a synopsis?
Yes.
Yeah, he'll do a synopsis.
What's that?
If I do this,
You know, that
That
kind of
will-
stuff
that
drives
will be-
me bananas.
Mayor,
Mayor,
we have reached a breakthrough.
Yes.
If we do a synopsis,
he's gonna do a synopsis.
which I will do,
I don't care.
but I'm saying we'll reduce the
I
price
just
and
don't
satisfy
like,
with.
I don't like the reason we don't fix things, because it's a lot. The
Oh.
definition of a lot.
Well, we're meeting the best of both worlds with that. Keeping the CFO happy, keeping the clerk happy, the mayor and the council president.
Salary and wage, remember.
Yeah,
Salary
I
and
know
wage.
where it's coming from.
Yeah, salary and wage.
I've been told many times.
It's coming out of your salary?
Yes.
I'll tell you what.
Salary and wage.
I'll tell you what. I'll pay for it. How's
I hear
that?
this all the
No,
time.
you cannot do that. Mayor, can you say you were just kidding for the record? please?
I was just kidding.
Thank you.
All right, resolution authorizing tax sale.
Well,
Why are we
numerous-
doing this?
Numerous resolutions. We do the one allowing us to charge, to have the sale, to charge the cost prior to the sale. And then I have the agreement from the company, so they'll all be on for the August.
A little
for
or a
the,
lot?
meeting. $15 per parcel that goes to sale.
I think that's ridiculous.
Well,
It's an opinion, guys. It's terrible. I hate opinions.
what's an opinion?
15, you know, why do we have to
That is-
interject our
That's not
personal
an opinion,
opinions?
that's the cost.
I'm making fun.
Oh.
It's ridiculous. You don't you don't care about $15 because you like the electronic tax sale. It has value. That's what I'm trying to get at. Advertising the ordinance correctly has value.
Prozac, Prozac.
Not me.
I know it's not you, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
It says imprisonment and, what, tonight?
My uranium,
So just, can I ask another question? Electronic tax sale, again, last year it was a complete catastrophe. Do we have confidence that we will not have a catastrophe like we had last year?
I do. We've done it for many years. That was the first time we had a problem, and they paid for it all.
Okay.
It really didn't cost us anything. They went over and above to try to make us
Fix
happy.
it.
Yeah.
So everyone knows we're one of the few communities that does it electronically. Some still do it the old-fashioned way where they bring people in and all that nonsense. We do it electronically, which is, well, it's getting less and less. Is that what you're arguing?
Yeah, there's-
I think it's the way to go.
I think it's
I was just
more and more
disappointed with
doing
last
it.
year because that was
Yeah.
difficult for everybody.
They advertised it in the wrong manner. And when it went for bid, some bid it the way they advertised
Wasn't
it,
fair.
some bid it the way that we set it up. So we had to just nullify the entire sale and
Do it all over.
re-advertise. Yeah, we do it all over. But they paid for the advertising, they paid for all of it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
All right, resolution authorizing the advertisement for sale of the borough property. I think our tax assessor basically said that the value of the property was $10,000. We have to put it up for sale, correct?
Yeah.
As long as the bid comes, it's an open public bid.
That's right, that's the minimum.
The minimum is
bid.
$10,000, and hopefully that'll make that gentleman happy, and we don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, and then if we don't get any bids, we can do it on our own.
All right, I'll hold the payment of bills until we're gone through everything. We're gonna start off with the engineer first. Be courteous to him. Since he's been under as much stress as I have.
We have a lot going on, so I did not have time to even do a written report, so I'm going to go over things that have been happening. First is Steve Bach issued a memorandum regarding the RC Park. I gave everybody a copy.
Yep.
And basically, the RC Park is almost entirely within the wetlands buffer of 50 feet.
Use specifics. 85%
80
is in the wetlands,
is
correct?
in the no.
50% was in the wetlands.
58 is in the wetlands, and 92% is within
The
a
buffer.
50-foot buffer. And there's regulations of what you can do and cannot do that are regulated under the wetlands rules.
And just changed recently.
And on page number 2 of that memo, items 3, 5, and 6 are specific of things that they're doing down there that is in violation, that they should get a permit to be doing.
From the DEP?
So Steve is recommending that you get everything out of there.
Okay. Is everyone in agreement with that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
how to do that, I'm going to defer to the solicitor on how you make
Okay.
that happen.
So that's the question. How do we make it happen? I say Public Works has to take it all out.
Well, here's what.
Because I don't know how we're gonna get the people who did this to come back and do it. What's the motivation to make them do it? Anyone?
They're not going to, I think we should give them written notice, which I can put together,
Okay,
and give a short time frame to get their stuff out.
Somewhere else.
That's right, and move it somewhere else. And if it's not done by such and such a date, our Public Works will do it, and any personal property can be picked up at the Public Works office.
okay, so let's answer that question. Move to an appropriate area. Is there an appropriate area in this municipality, or you're saying appropriate area outside this municipality? Do you have any recommendations on, there's nowhere down at the park, I mean, at the Runnemede Lake?
No.
There's no place down there.
Unless you want to give up around the softball field, I don't think you want to be doing that. There was discussions about doing it behind the ice house, or
Shelter Bakery, yeah.
back in there, but I don't know what pros and cons are with that, but it is an open area.
Do we want to give them the opportunity to look for another area in our town, or just say
No, I
that it's
don't,
not?
because I'll tell you why.
I don't
Because he
think
put
there's
it on,
gonna be-
because he, and you're not,
Yeah,
because he
we're
put
not
on
neighbors.
Facebook about, bombarding us all with their emails, and then called me stupid, okay? So, no, I'm
I think there's-
highly insulted, but I think they need to know that what they did was inappropriate, was wrong, okay? I think they need to know our findings and not assume that it's just little old me who doesn't want them to play in our town.
You guys okay? I think you should be okay. It's my
I think
advice.
we have a choice.
Okay, so you're gonna write the letter.
I'll write the letter.
Now you're gonna get it to him?
Yep.
Okay, that's a deal.
Oh. But you know what happened though, right?
I don't know. You wanna know what happened, or
Yeah.
it's in public? What happened?
It was to a wrong zip code and wrong mailing address. That's what happened. Joyce found it.
Oh, I thought you said you did use that.
No.
Oh, you didn't.
Yes.
So they're all barons and they're all barons.
Item one.
That's it.
Didn't know that.
Item 2, we took bids today for the sewer extension project. Bids were all over the place. The lowest bid was for $6.4 million, which is right on the budget number we need. However, the next lowest was $7.8 million and followed by $7.9 million. The low bidder of MSP Construction has 5 days to decide if they made any mistakes and want to withdraw their bid or not. That's just the law. So they have 5 days to decide if leaving $1.4 million on the table is a mistake on their part, or if they can live with that bid.
So we won't know until next week.
Next
We
Wednesday.
figured 7 million for this job,
Yes.
so that's the closest one to 7 million, right?
Well, the entire budget for everything is 7.5 million right now with, that's all the soft costs with engineering, inspection, administration, the,
Acquisitions.
everything. That is everything in its entirety, including your labor council and your attorneys and things like that.
So this is well under the,
Not well under, no, it's right, it's right there.
it's right there.
Because we had other calls.
With that bid of 6.4, you basically, in the IBAG, which is the financing part of this, you have 6.3 million for construction. And we are also getting 149,000 from Barrington for shared service. Those two numbers put that bid of 6.4
Perfect.
in line with the budget. As long as they don't withdraw their bid. If they withdraw their bid, then we're scrambling with the $7.8 million.
So we're not gonna do anything, we're gonna wait 5 days. We're not gonna worry about something that hasn't happened yet.
But tomorrow, I'll be sending them a letter, because since their bid was less than, or over 10% from the next bidder. They have to sign a document saying they bid it in accordance with public finance law, they're going to pay their own wages. So when there was a difference of over 10% between the low bid and the second bidder, they have to sign that document. So tomorrow, they'll be put, it'll go out to them there. And we'll find out.
Have we ever dealt with these people before?
I've never dealt with them. They're a large outfit from Flemington. Looking on our website, they've done a lot of work for municipalities and large projects.
So this is a valid bid?
Yes. Well, it's a valid bid as long as they didn't make a mistake and didn't overlook something. So that's that. So hopefully next Wednesday we can award it. The award would be contingent on DEP approval again.
Oh.
So we have to submit all the bid documents to DEP for them to review. And that might take,
If a council can do its part.
you can do your part to award it to these people contingent on DEP approval.
Okay.
And Shelley being able to certify availability of funds, I just walked her through it, so she should be able to.
Well, as long as these people seem viable and,
You understand he's nervous because of the 10% rule.
yeah.
When those numbers are within 10%, it gives them, But
Wonder,
the
maybe-
issue that we have, and hopefully they're listening to this publicly recorded meeting, is, usually we shouldn't talk about, but it is an open bid. The 10% rule is that, that's what we have budgeted, so it puts us in a very awkward position if we can't get the job at the number we need to be in it, so.
So that's
Well-
item 2. Item 3, there was an emergency out on Central Avenue with an inlet that is failing. Harry called me out last week to look at it. I had Councilman Farrell and Councilman Lockenstein with me. There was a sinkhole developed next to an inlet. The inlet's falling apart. We weren't quite sure if it had to be an emergency. The sinkhole wasn't too bad on Friday. I went back out yesterday, and the sinkhole got worse. And you can now actually see the outside of the inlet. So things are failing. I wrote a memorandum yesterday declaring it an emergency because we don't have enough time to go out for bids. Harry and I have been working with Bob Perna from Perna Finnegan. We've used them before in the past. I three-quoted emergency in Magnolia just last month, and they were way under everybody else. So with the dire situation, Harry and I have just been working with them. We have a quote from them of $52,745. When Harry and I were first looking at it, we thought it would be between $60,000 and $80,000, depending on what type of work had to be covered. We have to let you know that they might find other things out there because they have to do some exploratory. So basically, this cost is going to replace the inlet that failed, put a double wide inlet because there's so much water coming down Central Avenue, we want to increase the size of that. So they're going to do that. There's a pipe that goes under Central Avenue we think might be failing, but we can't see because Public Works tried to jet it and then send a camera through, and there's too much debris from the inlet falling apart.
Oh,
And
wow.
we can't come in from the other end because there's no manhole on the downstream side. So Perna Finnegan is going to get the manhole out, or get the inlet out of there, get the debris out, and at that point, Public Works and myself can look and see if we have to replace that pipe or not.
So that quote does not
That cost
include,
includes the pipe.
it does include that,
So it includes the pipe if we have to replace it. So, however, there's also another downstream inlet there's a sinkhole underneath somebody's sidewalk. We don't know what's going on there.
It's one by the
Is this-
telephone pole.
By the telephone.
And this is right on Central.
It's on Central.
Does this affect the houses inside at all?
Well, if it were to fail totally and it flooded, it
Yeah.
could raise up enough because the water can't go anywhere, it would just start rising and it could get into people's houses. That's why
the road's lower than the houses.
Yeah.
but-
you're also at the pump station there and you can get water filling up and harming the pump station. So between the sinkhole in the road and the possible flooding issues, why we better do emergency.
So are you recommending to?
We're recommending award of this emergency permit anyway, for the
How are we gonna pay for this?
That's Shelley's answer. You want to take the
Mark's gonna go
microphone?
right into the reduction of 2 contracts.
You want to answer that? You want Shelley to
I
answer?
don't know how they're going to.
Shelley already sent an email out, how to pay for it. You want to let everybody know?
We have
Microphone.
some roads.
So the money we saved
That's money
on,
that we'll be able to use.
the money we saved on Manor and Forest,
Oh, yeah.
will pay for it, and we're still short $8,000.
$8,253 we're short.
Salary
That
and
we
wage.
have in our capital ordinance that we can
Sorry.
cover anything.
Well, I think we gotta do it. I don't think we have a choice.
I don't know if you want to do it.
What would the resolution
You
number
want to
be?
do this? I don't know, but I have an emergency resolution here.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's,
Yep.
I just need a resolution number.
and it's a resolution, I don't know what the number is.
You learning?
I don't-
We need resolutions for them.
You don't need the number for it. All you have to do
It'd be
is.
nice to have that number.
It's just for the minutes.
All right, so we'll do it tonight? You're going to certify it? All right,
What exactly
Keep
is
going.
this? Is it a storm sewer? Is it, it's a storm sewer? Okay.
Inlet and storm.
Do you know the address or anything where it is?
Central and 11th Avenue.
now you want to keep punching?
And the last thing I have, I sent a letter to Joyce, or the mayor and council today, I blind copied everybody. It's a payment application and the final change order for Forest Avenue, and that's at 33,000 reduction. So we need a resolution next Wednesday for the change order, and Dan's gonna look at the maintenance bond.
I already did. There
And Dan's okay with the maintenance bond, so we need a resolution to accept.
you go. Got the letter right here. Very good.
Put that on for the next meeting. I don't want to forget that.
So we did that already.
I want notes, so
Yeah.
we don't forget.
Go.
Forget what?
We don't want to forget that. We're going to get this walked on for next week.
I have it right here.
And that, I believe, is there. I'll get a written report out before next Wednesday. It's just been a hectic week.
Do you have anything on DR Horton? I signed contracts or
They
applications.
they picked it up yesterday.
You're not part of that because that affects our pump station on.
I know they were working out a fair share agreement.
It was on the agreement, I think. It was in the contract. Did you see the contract?
I never saw the contract. Horton?
So it has not, all it is the borough allowing them to fix our pump station based on the engineer's recommendation to build those homes. They've got to upgrade the pump station, which was part of the planning board.
These are townhomes,
Yes.
90,
92, 96?
92.
And, but I signed the contracts to allow them to do this application. You know anything about that?
They picked it up yesterday, the engineer.
Steve deals with planning board stuff.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't know the latest on that, but I do know they were looking at the cost of upgrading the pump station with their fair.
So is there gonna be something, a resolution or something on that, or?
No, they have to do it. If they don't do it, they can't build the houses.
Oh, so they gotta do that before they do the houses?
I signed the agreement, they put the application into the state to fix it up, and that's it. So the council doesn't have to do anything, they have part of the planning board approval. So, I just wanted him to report that, to let them know,
Okay.
let everybody know that if they do it, it keeps moving forward.
Good.
What else?
It'll be in my written report.
Why don't you talk about the sewer mapping and the stormwater mapping, you know about that?
We're working.
So here's what I know. So we're at a point where we've got to purchase or rent I can only purchase a GPS system for our staff to run around and map it all out, because to pay the engineer would be much more expensive than to our staff doing it. Do you have enough staff to do that, Harry? That was really
So what?
Do you have it?
I will make it work.
Okay. So, as everyone knows, for the past 3.5 years, 4 years, we've been trying to get the maps done for all the stormwater, all the stuff, and this is the last step, and it was really pushed on us by the state. The state's now said that we have to know where everything is. And they don't just want a map, they want GPS coordinates to show where everything is. Now, do we have to provide this to them after we get it done, and if they hand it to them, and they upload it to something?
I think we uploaded to their system through PDS.
Okay. And then Steve has agreed finally to, once we have this done, we're going to put it on our website. So on our website, it'll say, this is a reference only for guidance. It's not a legal, we're not saying that this is what everything is, but, so if someone wants to do a project in town, they'll know where these outfalls are, where the stormwater lines are, the sewer lines are, things like that. Approximate location. Okay. Anything else? Because that's stuff that Steve said today. Okay. You done? Okay. Can we go around the table? Miss
You always
Pascal?
call me that, I guess we think alike all the time, that I'm always.
I don't
You
know.
both,
Yeah, oh, you're back. Don't torture you, that's our job.
your microphone.
Okay, well, really, I think the mayor reported on the wonderful 4th of July parade that we had. It was fantastic. There
Yes.
were a lot of numbers. Next year, it'll be bigger and better. And we're trying to think of some things to make us spark even more. What's coming up now will be the, of course, National Night Out. Let's not forget about National Night Out, which is next Tuesday from 6:30 to 8:30. And that's going to be a lot of fun, as always. And the Green Team will be out there.
The Women's Club.
The Women's Club. Just a lot of vendors will be coming. Do you know how many vendors will be there?
No, but it's gonna be just the same amount as because then.
And everything is free.
And so our council meeting moves to the 2nd.
Our council meeting will move to Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And that will be on August 2nd. So everybody come out.
I will not be here on the 2nd, so you have to look.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Great.
okay. Oh, all right, so I'll be prepared. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Okay, so.
We're all very happy.
So anyway, okay, so National Night Out is Tuesday. We could not get the dunk tank. Oh, so the mayor and the chief will not be getting dumped. I did suggest a tug of war and big pile of mud, but I guess that's not going to happen.
Well, I got some.
You?
I think that would be a good one.
For you or for me? You want to give me a heart attack, then sure.
Anyway, we'll be discussing, my committee will be discussing Halloween, which will be held at the field house, and we'll get more detail come closer to October. Other than that, I think that is it in progress. Eleanor, or who is
Eleanor.
next? Eleanor?
I will defer to my reports on next Wednesday.
Good.
Sounds good, Eleanor.
Craig, did you have anything else?
Just what we're dealing with the 11th and Central. I was down there last week along with Bob. It was a pretty dire situation. Yes, we'd like to be able to do the work for ourselves, but if we don't have staff, well, we don't have staff right now. As many places are, they're short on staffing. I really don't have anything else as far as public works. Harry, do you have anything at all?
Well, I think there was one discussion about hiring. Are we out there, we need to hire either a full-timer or bring in another part-timer? Is that one of the goals
Yeah.
that we're looking at this point?
One of the goals is to still
We
bring,
lost one individual,
we're down 2 full.
we're down 2.
But with that, we've been trying to supplement with part-timers to try them out, make the grade and so forth. And so far, the talent out there is not there, same as everybody else is dealing with. So instead of bringing somebody in and putting the money forth for benefits and so forth, we've been trying, but it's just not working. A lot of public works are faced with the same thing right now.
Did any of the part-timers show maybe the initiative to become full-timers? You think maybe they can move up?
Out of the 3 we have right now, no.
Take time, okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right, Mr. Farrell.
Nothing to report.
Oh, very good. Very good. Shelley?
We'll defer.
We'll just start.
No, the council meeting's on the 2nd, I'm saying. So the council meeting, I'll be at National Night Out, I won't be at the council meeting. Did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about? No? How's payroll going?
I love doing it. It's a great time.
Have we moved everybody's payroll back to Friday now?
Not yet.
Not yet. So one of the goals was to move payroll back one day, to give an extra day, because we have a lot of Mondays off. I think the police department's done a great job, I think most of the departments are doing a good job, but there's going to be times when that Monday, because everyone's off on Monday, payroll's due on Tuesday, so the chief's been coming in on his days off.
Was it Disney doing it?
He did it in Disney. But I think that one day, and I think all the unions and all the employees have said it's okay, I think we should get it done to give you that extra 24 hours. So whenever
And
you feel
again, I
comfortable,
mean, each department is, if everybody's using the time clock,
it should be fun.
all they have to do is approve their department's timesheets.
Yeah, but
And then finance is the one actually doing the payroll.
yeah. We just don't want to, if there's a problem, we want to, at least a day to fix it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
We can have it changed over, if you want to start it the week of Labor Day, we can do that. That gives everybody time to change their schedules around.
That
If
makes
they
sense.
have bills coming out, that kind of thing, then we can have it go through our HR module. They can put a letter out to all.
You
the
agree with that?
employees.
Labor Day's not bad? Is Labor Day good, Harry?
Yeah, we're good.
That gives employees enough time to,
Okay.
and we'll send a letter out just like we did with the handbooks.
Okay. All right, Harry, did you have anything else?
I'd like to thank everybody for their prayer and condolences for my family's loss. I appreciate the fruit basket. Did want to make note, we were requested to cut the labyrinth. They lost their volunteers under the agreement and so forth. I just wanted to make sure that it was noted that we're not responsible for any damage to any of the stuff down there because it's all uneven and so forth. And hopefully, unfortunately, we've got to cut it higher so we don't damage our equipment. But I just wanted to make that noted to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Long?
There. Let's see, we talked, the RC cars, I'll be handling that. Bamboo ordinance, no problem, Council President Passio. The bond on Forest Avenue, that was finished that late today. Mayor also emailed you and Harry the easement agreements for orchards.
I saw that. Who's going to take him to the,
You need to sign off, so.
You need to sign off.
all right, I'll sign before we leave. But are you going to take it to the individuals, Harry, or you want?
If you'd like me to, I would, but you offered before, so I
I'll
don't
go
want to take your,
again.
I don't want to take.
Last time I went, though, they accused me of intimidating them, so.
No, we went together.
Yeah, that was the second time.
Oh, that's why I came with you.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that was the second time.
I
So
think
I'd
it's-
rather you do it, Harry, or, the department, because
My
I,
staff can handle it.
you need to tell them we're doing this to protect them. If something happens.
Is
that
this
we
for
can-
the pipes under the
This
house?
is the pipe that's under the one guy's house.
Yep, so that's taken care of. A couple other updates that I can't talk about out here, and Mayor will talk offline, and then I'll update council as appropriate. So that's all I have right now.
Okay. Chief?
I'm good. I got my quarterly public safety meeting tomorrow with the committee, and thank Harry and his crew did a great job on getting everything situated for the 4th of July. And we'll be ready for National Night Out as usual. Captain Burns did a great job, and we spoke to a lot of businesses personally, me and him, and they were ready to go.
Okay. I just have two things. One is Harry suggested that the department heads get together on the off week between, so council, we meet the last and the first. So maybe the middle of the month, the department heads get together because we sometimes have issues of communication. So Harry wants to make sure that the buildings are ready for National Night Out. I'm sure the chief wants to be aware of anything that Harry's doing. All these different activities that are constantly happening, making sure they're happening. So we used to have these meetings years ago, and we stopped them only because if everybody doesn't buy into it, it's not worth it. But Harry asked to try to get back together again. So I'm going to try to do something where we used to do like mid-morning, something like that, so that if he's got a list of things that need to be taken care of, that everyone knows, or any other things that have to happen.
I love breakfast meetings.
You like breakfast meetings?
8:30.
Mayor said he's going to
Department heads.
chip in the breakfast.
I don't eat breakfast, so.
Bagels, scrambled eggs,
So
bacon.
it's-
No, this is like a 10 o'clock meeting.
So this is not for council?
No, it's only for the, like
Department heads.
department heads. So department heads get together because, for example, what was your example, Harry, that you felt you didn't know? You called me one day.
No, it's just in all, we got a lot of stuff coming up between the different events, blood drives.
Okay,
stuff
blood
in the
drives,
buildings,
like a fancy
multiple
example.
court dates going on, different things here. If we have projects going on, fire
Yard
department
sale.
doing hostessing in the parking lot, just so we have communications, what's happening throughout all the
I didn't
departments.
know there was a blood drive.
When we do have it.
When we have-
It actually got canceled, though. I think the last one they postponed, didn't it, or
Yeah,
something?
something.
Yeah.
There's one
The police
coming
department
up.
done a good
The
job.
Rotary has asked for the end of December.
Okay.
The 20, do we say the 20?
So we just have to work it out either with the
26th.
seniors or with the
29th.
basketball, because basketball's at the end of the year, to St. Teresa's.
That's already
in there.
started. I mean, I've already set that up for St. Teresa's.
Okay.
That's all done.
There's- and they're
Now, the
volleyball.
RY, we have to, it's like pulling teeth to get them to come up
With
with.
a definitive schedule. They say
Correct.
every day. Every day's not good enough. we need times and things like that. Okay, so that was the one issue of the management meeting. The second one was, I think I've made everybody aware that the school district wants to take over the entire second floor. And I think we've talked about this a little bit more, but the last few pieces to the puzzle are the police department and has worked something out with court so that there's a closet.
I'm gonna start working on
He's
that
gonna try,
Thursday.
he wants to help them. The police have done a great job of cleaning out the front room. The only thing left in that front room is court stuff. So the chief's worked with Kathy about giving them an area. What that does for them is they don't have to go upstairs either, which is nice. They can just walk out their door into the closet and get any paperwork they have. There is some paperwork that has to be disposed of still. I think Beth pointed out there was a lot of boxes up there. We haven't taken care of that yet, right? Harry, the boxes?
Negative.
Okay, so one of these shredding events, or Harry's really been willing to just go up there and take all the boxes to get rid of them. So first of all, we want to get rid of anything we can get rid of. Second, we want to scan anything we can scan. And then third, what we want to keep, we just got to figure out where to put it. So the goal would be to be 100% out of upstairs. And we think we have a plan to do this. And the plan would be that the court would come downstairs and the room where we, what would you call that room, Harry? The upper storage room?
Upper storage, yes.
Remember the upper storage room where we had some lights and banners and
And
filing
flags
cabinets?
and all kinds of stuff.
So Harry's pointed out that we do have fire sprinklers available in this building. And one of the thoughts is to move the fire sprinklers out of the current storage areas because they won't be needed if those rooms are used for offices. Disconnect that and move some sprinklers up into the upstairs. So I'm letting you know, so if there's a problem, we need to figure it out. And then move those papers, whatever's left over, upstairs. Put the shelves back up and do it because we know that certain things have to be kept for a long period of time. And that area, what we do know, is less likely to have water damage. We have had some water damage in the other area because the air conditioning units are right above that.
Have you ever thought of building a closet in the back part of where we are?
Working on plans.
Years ago, if everyone remembers, we did have a drawing that we put, and I agree with you, the paperwork should be close to the department that needs it, right? Police move the stuff next to them, we move the stuff next to court, construction's all been scanned, these things have to be kept. I agree, putting it maybe downstairs is another option. I think it's maybe too many boxes though. Until we know how many boxes we have, we don't know how much area we need. And I think there's a time frame between when the one boxes leave and the other boxes are there.
6 to 6 years. 6 years.
No, I'm talking about when we're, like right now, what's happened, you guys, you haven't been able to move the stuff that's downstairs, upstairs until that stuff's shredded. So there's times where we have twice as much paper. And until, that's what we need room for double the amount of paper.
Now, there's cabinets upstairs in the conference room, because originally the conference room was supposed to be for mayor and council. Then, the cabinets got put in there, so there's some filing from, I don't know how many councilmen used it, but I know I had filing up there, and I know John had
I
filing.
emptied mine out tonight.
So,
Well, I think the filing cabinets can be brought down. The chief has been nice, and I don't know overstep. He said for public safety meetings, things like that, Ms. Kelly could use the back conference room. It depends on you. Could we put a couple, so we have two rooms.
I have this on computer.
We could put our filing cabinets in this room, because we could clean this room up. Those chairs are our chairs. So we would bring the chairs and the table and maybe make this area nicer, because all the stuff down here is just hodgepodge of stuff. We could bring the filing cabinets down here, they're locked,
Yeah,
and they would be right here.
yeah.
So the advantage is, this is where we typically meet. We meet either here, or if we want a private room, I think the police room is there. So I say we bring the filing cabinets into this room. And then they're right here. And if you're done a meeting, we could walk in and put our stuff in here. We just haven't been using this room as well as we could be
Yeah,
using it.
absolutely.
There's a kitchen back there, there's a bathroom back there.
It's pretty good.
I've always used it for public events and supplies and stuff.
And then you could,
Because I actually do need something for when I get things from Oriental Trading. I order a lot of stuff.
She gets boxes.
So I get boxes and stuff, so that's another thing, Then I have to bring it over to wherever I'm taking it.
well, putting it here would be better than upstairs. I think that this would
Yes,
be better here.
absolutely.
So the only thing I would say is if everyone's okay with it, we'll work it out with Harry to move the filing cabinets and the chairs and the tables down here, and then continue to clean out the upstairs. Now, as for if Mr. Ranieri's here, he'd ask, what is the school district doing for us? So, and that's legitimate. but I would argue again that we're hopefully working together. What they are doing right now, in case anyone doesn't know, is they are helping us out with our fields now. So we are getting a new scoreboard that they are paying for at the field, but they're using the field. Harry has suggested them being, because we're not as well staffed, but they don't have a great amount of staff either, but if they were to help out with some things on the fields, that could be a way that they could do an in-kind contribution and stuff like that. Harry, what's an example?
Paying for fertilization.
Something as trivial as that, fertilization, fertilizing, weeding, that kind of.
It costs a lot of money, we have the staff though, but if they paid for part of the things, it upgrades our program.
And
Which makes
they're
our
using the
fields
fields,
better.
both the girls and the boys. And remember, we're not gonna charge them rent to use the fields, but if they help with certain things. I think this year, if you remember, the coach came here the one night thanking us for the work that got done, right? It's
Yep.
nice now. If anyone knows, they did a great job fixing the field to make it safer and things like that. Even though I think it was me, I hope we.
You're just, you do it all.
22 square feet
I could've-
out of 4,000 square feet, the mayor took care of.
Yeah. How many square feet?
22 out of 4,000.
Oh my God.
So they're increasing their rent too?
I don't know, they don't want to increase the rent. What they want from us, let's be honest, what they want is.
They don't want to increase the rent.
Here's their argument. Their argument is, it's, one pocket going in the other pocket. Their tax bill is our tax bill. They have to justify why they're spending $36,000 a year. For $36,000 a year, if anybody rents, rent disappears. If you purchase something, you own it. So there's an argument to say that $36,000 could be used to purchase something instead of renting something. Now, I've argued that $36,000, they don't pay electric, they don't pay heat, they don't have to shovel the walkways, they don't have to cut the grass, they don't have to mop the floors, they don't have to do all these things, which they've asked Shelley to kind of quantify, which is, she's busy enough to quantify that numbers. I'm trying to do it adequately, and just say, look, why don't we just kind of work something together where,
40.
is it 40 now?
Why don't you just raise it to 40,000?
Why not raise it to 50,000?
Well, I don't know, it's based on square footage, isn't it?
But based on what square footage rent, how do you determine the value of that space? It's arbitrary. I mean, that's what my point is. The amount of rent that we're charging is completely arbitrary. Where did we come up with this number? I don't even remember. You weren't here. We came up with a number that was just a
Pulled out
number.
of thin air.
It was pulled out of thin air. It was pretty much pulled out of thin air. And that's what they're questioning Shelley about. Justify.
I don't think it was pulled out of thin air. I think we really,
Square footage.
yeah, we
Based on what?
worked on it.
So if anybody knows about square footage, there's a lot of variables, and we don't have that kind of an agreement with them. We just came up with an amount of money. The borough fronted the renovations. We paid for the drawings, we paid for the lights, we paid for the sheetrock, the framing, all that stuff. We gave them we did the fit out for them. They moved in, and Sean, to give him credit, has basically said, look, we've already paid you back $200,000, which is more than what the fit out cost. And what do they have to show for it? It's a legitimate argument. To just arbitrarily raise the rent, why? Now, if you said our electric bill went up, I would say,
They have a parking space to show for it.
yeah,
We
but
also maintain the
What's that?
elevator.
So they have a parking space to show for it. Do you know how much it costs to park in Center City?
they're not Center City.
Well, I'm just
And that's the point.
I'm just
The
saying.
value of something is based on location. And that's, how do you guys want to spend it? I don't want to spend the time.
Costs us a lot.
I don't have enough time to spend the time to figure out pennies and dollars and things like that. It's our school district. I think we benefit when they do well. I think they benefit when we do well. I think we need to be good partners. And to me, being good partners is being reasonable on the money and working out
As
on
long as
ourselves.
next year, it'll be reasonable.
I think what Sean's looking for is a long-term commitment. Because he knows that we may not all be around in the future. And so the school district wants to know that they invest into us, it's going to be worth it to stay here. Think about it, if we agree to a 10-year lease, we did 5 years, say we did a 10-year. They want to know for the next 10 years that they're going to be protected and covered. That some next person comes in and says, should be $70,000. I pointed a choice.
I think a 10-year lease is a little,
No,
I think a 5-year lease would definitely be something that we should consider.
I don't know, I'd like to see what his proposal would back to this, and I think we did this the last time. I think we've had this exact same conversation the last time.
makes no sense.
And the only thing I would say is that most leases, so to give you an example, most leases, people like long-term leases. They like, restaurants will do long-term, because they don't want to invest and do it. Now remember, if we move out of the upstairs and they want to renovate it, it's on them now. We're done. We're not spending any more money upstairs.
I'd say just leave it like it is and work in kind with fertilizer and whatever. Keep it simple.
I mean, guys, when we gave them the baseball fields, we didn't ask for anything. Why wouldn't we say, Chief, what's a baseball field cost? To rent a baseball field?
A lot.
A lot.
I know you don't like
Yeah,
that
that's a
word.
terrible
I can't give you
word.
the definitive number. They're hard to come by.
Do you want to charge them for the baseball fields? Do you want to charge them for each spot that's outside?
Yes, 36,000.
No, but
3,000 a month?
I think a 10-year lease is just a little too much.
I think we should.
That's not
We don't
enough.
know if that's what they're gonna be.
That's not enough for businesses,
I
you
think
know.
3,000 a month.
You know, Minnie has a valid point. Are we gonna be here in 10 years?
But it was 10 years ago, would you have known that?
Eleanor's gonna be the only one.
No.
I won't be here.
So we, you know, they want to.
In what way? What are you talking about?
Would you have guessed 10 years ago that the cost of things would be where they are right now?
Not exactly, but I think that anybody who was dealing with 2.5% mortgage rates knew that it was ridiculously low. Anybody who grew up in the 70s remembers 18%, 18% interest.
16%.
Even just thinking about that, material costs for repairs, or our utility costs.
Well, and that's a great one that you put up the utility costs. If everyone remembers, the school district was the first one to get the program to change all the lights and the air to LEDs. We then followed them and redid our entire buildings with the LEDs after the school district had done it. So I would argue that our utility bills have gone down
Not
since, okay, I'm talking about electric bills. I said our electric.
Electric is not our only utility.
We don't like general things, we like to be specific.
Oh, my God.
Once again, council, I'm gonna remind everybody out there, I don't have a vote.
No, it does not.
I have no vote.
One circumstance.
I got a big mouth,
Big mouth.
and I'm aggressive. And if you wanna, you know, and I'm gonna be, you know what, you know how brutal honest I am. You know what I said to the school district when he started pushing back on this? What do you think I said to the school district when they pushed back? John, what do you think I said to the school district when they started pushing?
Move out.
What do you?
Move out.
Don't
You
like
know
it.
me.
Don't like it, fine.
Move out.
Find another foot.
That's exactly what I said. I said, Sean, they have him come in and testify. What did the mayor say? He said, move out. That's my attitude, guys. You know, make a decision. But you have to make a decision.
We don't want to
You can't not make a decision, guys. I can't sit here and do nothing. So what is the decision? They want more space. What do you want to do? We all agree we'd give it to them. The question is now the
I have no
rent.
problem letting them have that floor. I just feel that they should pay for it.
Based on what?
I don't know. If they're
That's the
getting more
problem.
space, why can't they pay more money?
It's
You
not
pay
gonna,
more,
it's
you
not
pay
gonna
more
cost
for a
us.
3-bedroom house than you would for
It's not
a
the same.
2-bedroom.
It's not the same at all. The school district, we send their bills out for the school district. The school district is part of us. Ms.
All right.
Kelly knows that we're partners with them.
We are. I don't disagree with their fact that they need the upstairs and they need more room, and that's fine.
You know, we're supportive of full-day kindergarten, aren't we? We're supportive of the preschool for the towns. This is our mechanism of us being supportive. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but we are being very supportive. But don't you think it's very unfair that they're getting more of our upstairs and not paying for it? Don't you think that's unfair?
And that's why I said, that's why I said that in kind, working together with things like this.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't even talked about Triton High School. We work with Triton High School all the time. We don't expect them. There was a time when Triton used to give us their the waxing machine, right, Harry? And they also brought equipment over here for us. And then simultaneously, we helped them. We brought the street sweeper in to sweep beforehand. I think the police department does things for them.
Well,
I think there's a give and take.
Apples and oranges.
I think it's give and take. I think the fact that there's a number involved is what I think bothers both sides. There's
So
about,
what is Sean
So-
coming up with?
So can I
he wants
ask,
a long-term lease without a change in.
I gotta throw two questions out there. One, is this extra space they want something that we are using now? So in other
Yes,
words,
we are using that.
No.
we're using it now.
Yes,
Okay.
we are.
No.
I meet up there all the time.
How many times did you meet up there?
Quite often last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, every.
How many
meeting.
times?
Every meeting.
Oh,
Every meeting.
How many times?
6.
6.
7.
6 out of 365
Please,
days.
what about all of our storage? We had to move it all out.
Your storage, once again.
I
We want to go
We're
paperless.
still there.
don't care where we meet, I'm fine meeting here.
Yeah.
I just want to be fair about the rental. And I think that they
So why don't
should
you
pay
come,
a
why
little
don't you,
bit more.
and if you can help me justify it, help me. Find out what it's worth. Find out, what is the real value worth? When we decided that we wanted to sell that land tonight, we hired our assessor, we didn't hire him, he works for us, the assessor came up with the value. Now, I would argue that $10,000 seems to be an amazing number, doesn't it? Pretty round, easy number. I don't think, no offense to Brian, I think he came up with a very simple number, kind of like the rent number we came up with. I don't know where he came up, I always thought things were worth what someone's willing to buy, pay for it. I didn't know it was based on some arbitrary, you know,
We're getting more money than if no one was there.
that's another
That's true.
factor.
And the question is-
We fixed the upstairs up and put that elevator in without anybody coming.
That's true.
We took a chance and we were very lucky that the state gave us
I know.
town money for pre-K.
And having them up there.
And Samantha, you know, helped put it together and we got that done over the summer and got them in. Do you remember that? How quickly?
Yep, yep.
We did put them in.
It's found money having them up there.
So right now, if everybody remembers, we rent our old public work garage out. We rent the upstairs out. This is money that we never had when we first came here. Has it all been perfect? No, I think Public Works would say it's been difficult some
It's
days.
money that we never had, but it's still costing us money
In what way?
Is it?
to have them up there.
No, it's not costing us any money.
Well, you're saying we could turn the electric and that's why he wanted to quantify it, you know?
Well,
And
when will we get a proposal from him?
I think he's looking for us to come back to him and say that we're willing to do something.
Oh.
His basic, what he said to me that the board's looking at is two things. Is it better for them to go buy their own place and have their own facility and do whatever they want? Or is it better for them to stay with us, but they need a little more room? And it financially is an incentive for them to stay here.
So
Remember,
if they go into a long-term lease, it'll be at 36,000?
I think somewhere around there. I mean, maybe, I think Shelley's right, you know, there's nothing wrong. I don't want my predecessors to say what we've said about the Runnemede House agreement, where there was no escalation in cost. I think maybe there should be an escalation in cost. We could say, almost like a COLA amount, that it goes up, like Social Security goes up, or even if it was at 2%, that might be a more palatable thing. I think we could easily say 2%, because remember, the school district's done a great job of not going above 2% every year.
Oh, they do,
So-
because they know they don't want us going in there looking at their records.
Well, they'd have to
They
go
got
out,
money in.
no, they'd have to, that's
Yes,
not.
they do. They hold
Eleanor,
money.
Eleanor, if they did not, if they went above 2%, they'd have to go to the public and have a vote. Is that correct?
That's correct, they have
Has
audited.
nothing to do with us.
Has nothing to do with us.
They have to go to the
They get
taxpayer.
audited just like we do. There
Really, Eleanor,
are,
you're gonna say that on a recorded line?
yeah.
You know I get phone calls, right?
I will say this, representing 13 school districts that my firm does, that is not even close to true. There is no such thing as hiding money with all the financial accountability rules, auditing. There's a thing called CUSAC, which is the state accountability standards. It is impossible, even if you wanted to. So I think the point is, Mayor, I think plant the seed that we have. And, you know, I think we need to determine what the cost is to us to increase that space, what imposition there is, both economic and otherwise, with respect to it, which is why I asked the question about the space, and then determine, and Mayor, I will look back, because I do remember being involved, what was it, like 2018, 2019, in putting together that lease when we did it initially.
5 years.
That sounds about right. we're sitting here right now, I don't know how we came up with that number, but I think it's something that, it's been a mutually beneficial relationship. I think it's something that, it hasn't been a major imposition. I think we've been up there one time. You and I, in the years that I've been doing there for a meeting, I think it was a negotiation session with Public Works. I think everybody wants to continue the relationship, and I think it benefits everybody to continue the relationship. And once you start from that place, we can do it. And that's.
Well, how do you feel? Do you think we should take more money?
I want to see this proposal.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to see the
Wait till
proposal.
It's not the public comment, you're not supposed to talk, but you know what, John, what do you want to say?
Does the school district get any more money because they're doing the full-time pre-K and the kindergarten?
Yes.
and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So if their funds increased,
But their funds increased to pay for the kids.
I don't understand.
Yeah, not to pay for us.
Right.
That money is,
Right,
right?
those grants have to be directly, you have to use 100% of the money for the purpose that it was intended. But that's a good thought.
Yeah, and the only thing that they've tried to do is by having their offices over here, it freed up space in the other buildings,
So look, it's never easy, but I think we'll figure something.
Okay. As long as we're okay with moving forward with cleaning it up. I understand that the staff sees it as an imposition. Sorry, we're going to work on it and make it less of an imposition. I would argue that the police, court, and construction have all benefited by us moving the paperwork around because I think it's easier on them to access it. And maybe this is the last step, is to get the finance and clerk's office more easily accessible, right? We spent our money first to do the other scanning. We didn't spend the money because we wanted to get construction much more quickly. Okay, what else? Anything else?
I have something.
Oh,
Tax bills will be received in our office tomorrow,
Okay.
so they will be mailed. Everyone's taxes are up online if they would like to look at them. But
and the due date?
due date is August 25th.
August 25th. All right. Payment of bills. Would someone like to make a motion to pay the monthly bills?
I'll second it,
Motion by Mr. Lowenstein, second by Ms. Pasio. Roll call, please.
Who made that, Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
and me.
Pasio. Mrs. Pasio.
Yes.
Mr. Robinstein.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Four ayes to it.
All right, bills shall be paid. Good and welcome. This portion of the meeting is open
Do
to
you
the
want
public.
to, excuse me, do you want to do that resolution or not?
Yes.
For the emergency?
The one I don't have a number for? Yeah.
The one you don't have a number for.
Resolution 23, we don't have a number for, is a,
That's okay.
11th and Central?
It's an emergency storm sewer repair for 11th and
well, she's
Central Avenues
first meeting.
in the amount of $52,745.11.
Someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Mr. Lowenstein. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Pasio?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
And Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
All right, the resolution is adopted.
Good.
This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Any wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and town of origin. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public?
I'll make a motion to close the public portion.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Pasio, second by Mr. Lowenstein. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are closed. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second that
Motion
motion.
by Mr. Lowenstein, second by Ms. Pasio. We are adjourned at 6:59.